Hi guys, and today's video I'm going to be talking about what they don't tell you about loving yourself. Oh, messages. I might be looking down quite a bit, just wanted to say quickly because I'm going to be reading off my iPad a bit, just for some of the messages that I wanted to come across more clear. And yeah, so before I started this video, I wanted to pick some oracle cards, and I asked, you know, my higher self, some my guides, to give me some messages that I wanted, that they really wanted you, the people watching this video, to hear. And they gave me two cards. The first one I will read now. And it is the card Neverending Story, and this is from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. It's called Neverending Story, and it's card number 37. So I'm just going to read the oracle messages on each card. That's actually from the book, just so that you can get the gist, and then I'll add my own interpretations, etc, etc. So, Neverending Story. Essential meanings: self-criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary dramas. The oracle message. There is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of heart and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manners of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old stories whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just small, scared, conditioned part of you that gets stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. To me, Neverending Story is about the old stories we've told ourselves about loving ourselves, how we should love ourselves. The stories told by others, and the stories that we then go on to tell others. That we should be proud of the bodies we've been given, you know, that plastic surgery is frowned upon. And how can you expect anyone to love you if you don't love yourself? But like the oracle message tells us, it's time to tell a new story. It's time to create a new narrative that we can go on, the correct narrative. Because the truth that many of us don't know is the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. The only reason people do not express love is because they are in a state of fear. Yes, it's true. Sometimes we're put through painful experiences to remind ourselves what unconditional love of self is. I'm going to be reading a little bit of a book called Return to Love that really resonated with me. That is, like, I recommend that book 100%. If you are struggling with self-love, or you want to just learn, like you're struggling with a lot of feeling negative low vibrational feelings of like hatred towards others, jealousy, stuff like that, it really touches on those subjects and helps you with a different outlook on those things as well. So it says, this is page 160 on A Return to Love by, I will put the author here because I don't want to butcher her name right now. It says, someone once told me that the way peacock feathers are made is from peacocks eating thorns. What a beautiful image. That the harsh things we have to digest can contribute to our beauty. But not always, she says. only when we open up enough to really take in the horror, oddly enough, resistance and defense only makes the error more real and increases our pain. So it's not necessarily the hard moments that are helping us through these lessons. Yes, it's true sometimes that you find yourself at rock bottom and then find that the only way is up, so you are able to have this different outlook and new perspective on life. But really, it's when you resist. Gosh, my phone, I'm so sorry. It's my birthday, guys, I'm so sorry. It's more so when you're resisting these lessons and these, let's see, resisting these lessons, I'm gonna say, that's what's actually making it hard. Surrendering, which I will come on to later, is such a difficult skill to grasp, but one that once you learn and you've actually learned to incorporate into your life, I feel like it changes so much. Things just flow, things become a lot easier. Yes, there's still resistance, but you learn to handle those resistances better. It says, it takes courage and great strength to hold on to our center during times of great hurt. It takes wisdom to understand that our reactiveness only fans the flames of false drama. Love creates a mystical shield surrounding us, protecting us from chaos when we are in the midst of loss or betrayal or crisis of any kind. So remember, those who are not expressing love, those enemies, like, it could be anyone, any small thing, like you're working in the customer services and someone shouts at you. Not expressing love is expressing fear, is being in a state of fear. And if anything, you should feel, I don't want to even say sympathy for that person, but empathetic for that individual who has, you know, probably been in those low moments so often and in such a state where they have to express fear opposed to what we are actually born to do. What I believe is a purpose of life is love. That's it. Simple as unconditional love. So this is what I wrote. So here I was. I loved myself. Also, I thought I had learned to love my skinny legs and uncurvy body, my above average height and feet size. I spent a year embracing my short, forcey natural hair. I loved myself. It had been a long and difficult journey, but I'd made it. And for the most part, I was happy. Shortly after this period, I began dating again. A couple of months in, I found I had attracted exactly the same problems in my life. I said, what the fuck? I like to advocate for the message that intimate relationships can tell you more about yourself than those with your friends and family. I feel like those kind of relationships is way, well, personally for me anyway, because you know, you could have a whole different natal chart for me, because where in my chart I learn most through others. That's what I learn about myself, also being a Pisces as well. And this is because they act as a mirror and reflect back to you the things that, you know, you're not so secure on, the traits that you actually do possess, but maybe you're searching outwards for rather than looking inwards. And also showing you your not so secure attachment style. And it's through these mirrors and relationships that the unconditional love you have for yourself is truly highlighted. When we think of unconditional love, we think of the love a parent is supposed to give to their child, or the love embodied in a marriage. That's when we usually think of unconditional love. But the thing is, the truth is, I will let you in on the little secret that hopefully, ironically, you will actually share with others. Unconditional love is more so, let's think of when you're on a flight and they say unconditional love works in the same way. It's more so. works in the same way when you're on a flight and they tell you about the safety procedures. The one that is ingrained in our mind: put on your own oxygen mask first before you help others. So unconditional love is not just about giving to others, it's also about giving to yourself. More importantly, it's about giving to yourself, if anything. So we return back to a page from A Return to Love to clarify the point. She talks about God, but you know, if you're not religious like that, God to me symbolizes the word love, like replace God with love, really. But God only gives gifts that are meant for everyone. So it is that a marriage is meant to be a blessing on the world, because it is a context in which two people might become more than they would have been alone. We do not get married to escape the world, we get married to heal it together. Service does not mean self-sacrifice. It means giving the needs of another person the same priority as your own. That's the main point. I'm gonna repeat that because I feel like you guys needed to hear that again. You know what I'm saying? Okay, service does... I feel like I'm preaching. Service does not mean self-sacrifice. It means giving the needs of another the same priority as your own. The same priority. I love the way she put that. So, if we're giving to ourselves, we need to know about self-care. Self-care days, weeks, months, lifetimes. Listen to your body. I get very, very drained, and then I feel very bad for just kind of like lounging around sometimes, because I feel like I need to be productive. And then I feel like even though I'm relaxing, I'm still thinking about everything I need to do, which isn't me listening to my body. I need to just allow myself to chillax in those moments. Obviously there's limits to things, but if you're self-aware, then you should know if it's time you should actually be relaxing or when you shouldn't be. In those times as well, and the times when you're not in a relationship, actually, you know what, forget about if you're in a relationship, forget about if you're not in a relationship. Take the time to learn yourself. I feel like, I don't even feel like I know, everyone has a voice of their inner wisdom, their intuition, that actually takes time for you to learn and differentiate from other voices in your environment. And I feel like there's lots of different ways you can do this. You could meditate, you could write journaling, you could journal, even just kind of sitting down and writing qualities that you know about yourself, and just understanding yourself, because that is the best way for others to understand you. If you understand yourself, no one can tell you who you are. No one can tell you who you are. And more importantly than understanding this intuition and this inner voice is trusting it, not doubting it. That, like, not thinking about, do you know what, I knew that was going to happen. Danielle, I knew that was going to happen. No, I know you knew that was going to happen, so stop it from happening. Stop it right there in its tracks. Do not let it go any further if you can. Particularly, I'm going to talk about introverts, particularly just because I am an introvert. Sorry, I'm literally thinking in my head of like stupid stuff and then I'm just giggling to myself. Anyway, back on topic. If you're an introvert, please give yourself time to rest alone. I don't have my own room, but if I can, like if my sister's downstairs, I'm going to be upstairs in my room. If I just need those few minutes alone, even just putting in some earplugs, blocking out everything, watching, like, I feel like it's not even about doing anything in particular, it's just really about regaining back your own energy after it's been drained. Oh, it's tiring. It's a tiring work being an introvert, I tell you that. Self-care also includes ghosting, blocking and unfriending. Cut them out nicely though, with love. Cut them out with love. I'm not gonna be like, you know, I personally can't ghost people because I feel bad, so I will be telling you where I am. I have to tell everyone like where I'm at. That's my cat Venus. I'll be like, right, so this isn't working, we can be friends, we can be cool, or we can be nothing. These are the options here. What do you choose? I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate that, but I'm not gonna stop doing that because that's what I'm looking for from someone else. So that's what I'm trying to exhibit myself, if that makes sense. I'm actually holding a crystal, so that's why my hands are bent this whole time. Just helps me to think. Anyway, so yeah, ghosting, blocking and unfriending. It could be your best friend. Like, just mute them. Just mute them if they're getting on your nerves, because social media doesn't have to be as hard as everyone makes it out to be. It really does not. And self-care is learning how to create those boundaries. Look at that segue into the next topic. Right, so we're going to read the next oracle message now. The next one was mending. Forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. Each time we are hurt and allow the past... If I could read, that could help. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal. The pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, and to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. You know what? I'm so thankful that my guys really drew these two cards for me, because I feel like they really just add a little bit more and really resonated with me as well in terms of self-love and healing. And I feel like this what I'm trying to give you is like the little extra bits about what really they don't tell you about loving yourself. It's not as easy as people make out to be, and it's not the set of rules that have been listed for us over and over again. It's really not. I feel like the most difficult thing for us to remember in our most challenging and lowest moments in life is how far we've already come, and how much we learn and have learned during those moments. I'm going to add a few kind of methods that I've used, that I've tried out to help me with forgiveness and mending with others. And you know what, sometimes you actually need to forgive yourself as well for things. I feel like we beat ourselves up so much, and as much as we need to forgive others, we also need to learn to forgive ourselves. One of the main things I do is write a letter to someone, either to myself or the person who hurt me, or, you know, my perspective, they've hurt me. And I burn it. Burning it is the most therapeutic, but you could post it with no address. You could rip it up and simply just put it in your bin. You could bury it underground. Do whatever you feel comfortable with, but yeah, it's a very therapeutic method and you should definitely try it. Just literally write as if you're addressing that person, and if your thoughts, like, it's not a proper sentence, it's not like a whole letter or something, just be like, you know what, I forgive you, but you're a bitch, but I do forgive you. There's just a way of getting all those emotions out and releasing them. Also, another way is journaling during those dark moments, because I've noticed as well, when I'm able to look back on those moments when you felt the lowest, you realize, like, you can kind of Google at yourself a little bit and you're like, wow, I really felt like my life was about to end, and here I am still living. God, it's got very bright all of a sudden. and you kind of just, I don't know, it's nice to look back on. It's kind of a little bit cringy to look back on as well, but when you're in those moments again, you just read back read back to the other moment that you was in and just be like, girl, you got through that one, I'm gonna get through this one. This is a tip that I've also gave my cousin, and I feel like this is something to help people deal with more so when you're dealing with family members, or maybe people you can't really get away from, maybe a flatmate, I don't know, people you can't really escape as easily as you would some other people who are draining to you and who you don't particularly like and who don't actually treat you well. You know, your mom, your dad, or whoever else. If you don't feel like you should completely cut them out of your life, every time you engage with that person, act as if it is the first time you've engaged with them. Create a new slate for them every single time you engage, and then after that the boundary is back up. So they give you a call and you're like, hi, how are you, how you been, da-da. They're not this person who you've created, who is that negative, I don't know how to explain it. They're no longer the negative manifestation of what you've created. It's flashing, but now they are this, they're them again. They're their clean slate. They're just them. So say it's your dad. They're no longer the dad who left you, the dad who doesn't spend time with you, the dad who whatever, the dad who you feel rage for. When you hear that voice for the first time, each time you're in the conversation, they are just dad. And dad is going to be whatever he's going to be in that conversation. If that turns out to be a good conversation, that's cool. If it turns out to be in a bad conversation, you can cut that conversation off, and that's cool too. But as soon as it's done, it's done. You're not adding to the list of who he is. You're not creating more traits for him. You're not creating it's not a character development program, you know, happening inside of your brain. It's just, that's my dad. That's my dad, that's it. I feel like it's kind of a hard concept to get around. It makes sense to me, but I don't know if it actually makes sense properly. I might have to just explain that properly some other time. But yeah, I feel like it's a tactic that people should try. If it works out, please comment down below. If not, I'm sorry. I ain't a therapist. Last but not least, I feel like some people despise the idea of forgiveness. They're like, why would I forgive them? At the end of the day, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. It's completely, like, forgiveness is a selfish thing. Even if you hurt, no wait, sorry, let me think. Yeah, you know what, at the end, yeah, it's a selfish decision. And it's a good selfish decision to make, to forgive others. It releases so much, like, burdens and energy that you built up about that person. Similar to what I was saying, this whole character development of this person. Like, if you have a sister, she's my sister that buys me food. She's my sister that broke my tooth. She's my sister that did all these memories of them. But it's so hard to explain. So at the same time, she's still just insert name here. She's still just Rebecca. This person is just Rebecca. She's only your sister because you made her your sister. She's only a bad sister because you've made her a bad sister in your mind. I mean, not physically, like you didn't actually force her to hit you in the face. Maybe you did, who knows, not judging. But yeah, she's only like a bad sister because you've attributed, is that the word? Those traits to her. But if every time you meet her again and you scrap that last thing, not only does it keep you really present in the moment, she's now again just Rebecca. Yeah? And Rebecca can be whatever she wants to be in that moment. Rebecca can be to you whatever you want to be in that moment. And I feel like as well, it helps you release guilt, especially if it's someone you feel like did something dirty to you, you know. And yeah, because at the end of the day, the only person you can control is yourself. You cannot control anyone else. You cannot expect anything from anyone else, unfortunately, as hard as it sounds. Like, I expect things from other people, but if they do me dirty, then what can I do? I can only control how I react to that. I can only make decisions as each thing happens, as each event occurs, you know? And with that, I'm not saying you need to keep these people in your life. Boundaries is also self-care. Boundaries is self-love. Boundaries is unconditional love. And I feel like with boundaries, it's something you really need to like set, like if you need to, just write them down so that you're like, wait, you're breaking my boundary. This is not allowed. This goes for friends, families, relationships. You can be in a relationship, I don't care. Set that boundary. Set that boundary. You will not talk to me past 10 p.m. That's a boundary. If I have no money, I will not go out with you. That's a boundary. Like, set boundaries for yourself, set limits for yourself that people cannot go past, you know? Anyway, relationship, if you tell people your boundaries, but if not, if you feel like you can't, or I feel like, again, you shouldn't really fear the adverse, is adverse, I'm gonna say, the reaction, the negative reaction, because by fearing it, you're already creating it in your mind, you're already creating all the possible outcomes of what will happen instead of just doing it. But that's another story. Anyway, and simply you can just tell that person, in order for me to love you to the best of my abilities, I need to create this boundary. And sometimes as well, it's just like a reality check for someone to be like, do you know what, this isn't about you. Not everything is about you. You can make this about you, but it's not about you. This is for me, okay? And if you need to do something for you, you do it for you too. Just check yourself. If someone creates a boundary with you, check yourself. Am I overreacting? Or can I just, you know, that's what I mean at checkpoints, you know? When something goes wrong. Say someone created a boundary with you. The checkpoint there is, am I overreacting? Can I move past this boundary? Like, can I live with this boundary with this individual? If yes, you continue. If no, maybe you should exit out of that relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is, as in family, friends, lover, whatever, intimate, you know. And then there you make the decision. At each checkpoint you make the decision. It's not about dragging it on. Don't drag things on. Don't. That's not self-care. That is not self-love. Leave it back there, you know. Leave it. It's like, yeah, boundaries is where you give yourself a break, where you practice your self-love and self-care. And yeah, like I said, can be simple as like having a crystal on you. Not this one, because this isn't going to create magic. This is the only thing that's going to open you up. But you know, get some tourmaline, did I say it? Black tourmaline, oh god, black obsidian, quite dark crystals. I feel like are very like protective. So yeah, you know, get some, put it in your pocket, get a bracelet, get a necklace, create that boundary. Could be that, could be as big as moving away, could be as extravagant as creating a restraining order, dang, could be as small as a do not disturb sign in a hotel. But you know, create those boundaries and allow people to stick with it. Anyway, we're about to run out of charge, so just in case, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope some of it resonated with some of you, and yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.